What's going on, everybody? Hello, and the mic doesn't work. Fantastic. Well, I'm sure you guys can't hear me. Oh, you can hear me. Huh. Well, I don't know which microphone's working. I got this new little webcam, this dude here. And apparently, since this monitor has a webcam built into it, it creates a conflict, and I can't get the damn thing to work. And the picture's so much better on that. I mean, it's crystal clear. Remind me of my freaking mowing hair and my dirty elbow. Been doing all sorts of stuff today. What's up there, Mr. Steven? Mr. Massey? How are you this evening? Yes, I'm drinking a Sprite. They'll probably knock me out for copyright or something stupid like that because I held a can up. Back from Tennessee. Hell yeah, brother. I love going up through there. It's been kind of a late night, so you're going to have to mind me eating a sandwich. A little ham and cheese. But yeah. Yep. What's up there, Doc? Hadn't been that hot out here, Steven, but it's been humid as all get out. In fact, it's been rumbling out there, so I'm not surprised if we're gonna get a storm yet tonight. Rain kind of held off all day. Was able to get some mowing done tonight. I don't think I've been on that mountain coaster. Is that around Gatlinburg, Mike? Low 90s in New Jersey. Yeah, it was low 90s today here. It was pretty hot. I went over and helped a buddy of mine with his transmission in his Suburban. He got a really good deal on a 08 Suburban. Needed a few things, but the torque converter shuttered on it. So he had to put a rear main seal on it anyway. So he decided to do some transmission repairs while we were at it. So we did. I did the Sonex TCC regulator valve on it, and I couldn't do the boost valve because this one, it's an 08, so it's got an input speed sensor on it. And what else did we do? Did a Fitzall, the TCC regulator that's in the valve body. We also did the HD23 shift valve, so it'll save that forward sprag, and threw a converter in it, new seal, and that kind of stuff, and down the road it goes. 2,500 foot in Pigeon Forge, just outside of, yeah, that's kind of what I figured it was. Um, we haven't been there. Man, when was the last time we were there? It's been at least 15 years. You know, they got something like that in apparently in Branson now. Haven't been to that one either. Ooh. Doc, I'd say it's probably drier than a popcorn fart where you're at then. Doc, that is a baby North Star. Olds Intrigue, I think, is what they had those in. Other than the leaking, they were notoriously oil leakers. Yeah, Aurora. That's what I was thinking of. Other than being an oil leaker, uh, they're a good engine. They're the same thing as the North Star. The North Star is just a 4.6. Everything else is the same. They don't take lightly to being overheated, but they do run good. That engine was originally designed for an Indy car. And they'll sustain some RPM for quite some time. But like I said, other than oil leaks, they're a good motor. put it in put it in your van. I wouldn't. They didn't make a lot of torque. Made good horsepower, but not a lot of torque. One in a Bravada. You had a 32 valve V8 in an Olds Bravada. I'd never heard of that unless somebody put it in there. That's the first I've heard of that. But you know, anything's possible. But there was some special order stuff out there you could get. So I wouldn't put it past anything. So that's interesting. So we have to take a class every month through GM. They call them emerging issues, which basically it's like up and coming stuff and things that they found in the field. And this last class had to do with the new Z06. Shoo, excuse me. That's Sprite burp. The that new engine they got, holy shnikes. It's basically 2 four-cylinders put together, so I'm assuming it uses the same parts as, like, the 2.7-liter turbo they're using in the Silverado. The other thing that's up and coming is the new 2023 Colorado and Canyon. Uh, you get the only engine you can get is a 2.7-liter four-cylinder, but it's got 3 different power options, 3 different power outputs, depending on which model you get. The truck itself looks pretty good, but no V6 option and no diesel option. They've dropped both of those, which makes me wonder if they're trying to get rid of the 3.6 liter and just like I think they're trying to do an electric Camaro, which I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not sold on this electric crap. How you going to do that with the heavy trucks and farming equipment? Uh, there's no way. It's not economical. It's not feasible. Yeah, Mike, they put for the past couple years now, they've had a 2.7 liter in a Silverado. It's a 2.7 liter turbo. It really doesn't run too bad, but if I'm going to buy a truck, I want a V8 at a truck, period. Excuse me, because a 2.7 liter to me is nothing but a mall crawler. It's some yuppie that wants to drive the thing. Occasionally put a few things in the bed, but other than that, he just wants to say that he owns a truck. Hey, Ice, I didn't see you there. I don't have my spectacles on, so right, you got to know what you know. Dodge has got a Challenger all electric coming out in 20. Yeah, but they also said 2023 Dodge is dropping the Charger and the Challenger. It's going to be the last year for it because they're pushing to go all electric also, which, you know, I bet the 90% of the people that are buying new cars don't want an electric car. And, for many problems they're having with the batteries and blowing up and stuff like it, you can't even put it in the garage. You're going to burn your whole house down. Now, these are strictly my opinions for anybody that's listening. So that's what it is. It's just an opinion. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good for towing. That 2.7 liter is not good for towing, period. Um, it's way underpowered for a full size truck. And they could change that a lot with gearing. Um, and I think the 2.7 liter came with the 8 speed, didn't come with a 10 speed. They could probably help it a little bit if they did put the 10 speed in it, but I'm not for sure. My thought on the electric vehicles, this is just my opinion again, is they need to there is a place for electric vehicles, but just not solely electric. You need to give the consumer an option. I mean, they still need to have some gas burners out there and some diesel burners, period. It's not feasible for most people. Plus the maintenance. Here's the thing. The carbon footprint of an electric vehicle when that thing is retired is far greater than a gasoline burn vehicle. That's just the way it is. So how are you going to get rid of that battery if the battery goes dead? And then some of those batteries are upwards of $10,000 to replace it. Well, that's a majority of the cost of the car. So how does that make sense? Um, Again, electric vehicles have their place, but it it doesn't make economic sense. Woo. A 5.9 liter inline six? That's a big freaking six cylinder. Wow. God, my eyes are really bothering me tonight. I did an electric Pinto just to have a good little farm rig. Steven, I still have not done that gate. Uh, Seems like every time I get to the point where I think I'm going to be able to get to it, something else comes up. That's just the way of life. Um, I got to get mowing done tomorrow. I still need to work on Mama's Toyota, get it fixed. Still need to do the cab on my truck. Basically, unfortunately, Scarlett's kind of got put way on the back burner, getting anything done. I just got so much stuff I want to do and so much not enough time to do it. You know, I could probably take 6 months off of work and still have plenty to do for 6 months, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, that doesn't pay the bills. Yeah, I can't remember which one of you sent me the email, but it's like we were talking today, you know, I did a quote and it's true to what's going on. You know, it basically says, "Forgive me, Father, for they know not what they do." And it relates to um the amount of evil that is among us, and that's all I'm going to say about it, because you know I can't go any further than that. Um, to the risk of losing this platform, and I'm not really ready to do that just yet. Um, but you know, it's pretty bad when you get condemned for having an opinion of something, but if it doesn't fit, um, then you get condemned for it. That's it there. What's up, Scott? How are you tonight? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that too, Doc. Yeah, I keep watching some of these things that have been coming across. You know, and I'm not sure how much the media is actually telling us or how much of it's actually true. So I mean, you can't you can't get worked up about everything that they say because I mean some of it just may be a load of BS and it's enough to get you riled up and you got to be smart about what you make an interpretation of. That's what I'm going to say there. Well, maybe, but anywho, I'd agree with that, Mike, for sure. That's great to hear, Scott. I'm glad, and thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Um, I tell you, one thing that we've noticed is it's slowed way down at work. It's not very busy at all. It, I mean, they're taking some pretty raggedy cars and just forgetting work, but a lot of the other guys don't have much to do. Um, it's getting kind of slim pickings. I know school started, but I don't ever remember it being this slow. I'm usually pretty hammered with transmission work. Well, thanks, Doc. I appreciate that. I've been able to get my hands on one Tucker. Yeah, I was watching a good one tonight. You guys might check it out. Roman Atwood podcast had Garrett Mitchell on there tonight. If you don't know who Garrett Mitchell is, uh, he is better known as Cletus McFarland. And the interview that they had with him tonight was pretty good. Really, I watched most of it. Well, in fact, I watched all of it. Who am I kidding? But anyway, um, it's kind of cool to get him out of his element and have somebody just enter him. And the guy's just humble as all can be. I mean, he's just, from what I've understood for a couple of buddies of mine and Kevin from KSR Fabrication um, is here local to me, and I guess he stops by there all the time. He's the one that built Mullet for him. But some of those podcasts are really good. It's kind of neat to hear the story of how Cletus McFarland came about, and it's crazy how fast it took off. Well, there's a quote that somebody posted out the other day that it was by Dwayne Johnson. And if you know who Dwayne Johnson is, he's the Rock. If you smell what the Rock is cooking, anyway, um, he uh, he wrote, in that quote, he said, "If you focus on yourself, um, how did it go? If you take the time to focus on yourself to improve, you will. If you focus on shit, you'll get shit." Um, and that's so true. Um, it's crazy if you can't. You're afraid to say anything anymore because you're afraid that somebody's going to copyright strike you or some BS like that. It's ridiculous. So basically, what I got at is just focus on the good stuff. I mean, focus on yourself and on improving yourself, and try not to focus on the negativity, um, because that just warrants more negativity. Um, there's a lot of things that even though times are tough and I mean, a lot of us have got lots of things to be thankful for. Um, first and foremost is um, your health in general. If you're still above ground and breathing, that's a blessing every day. The family, the friends and family that are around you. Um, what would you be? What would you be like without them? I've got 3 dogs and 3 cats that I'm pretty crazy about, and a horse outside, and a wife in the other room, and I've got a roof over my head, and um, food in the freezer, food in the fridge. Um, got a car to drive. There's quite a bit to be thankful for. I've got this here, um, and all those are material things for the most part. But most of the stuff that's around it, like everything you see behind me, it's all material stuff. You know, it would suck to lose it, yes, but you don't need it to survive. So, at worst case scenario, they could take everything from you, but as long as you got yourself and you got your pride, then you're going to be golden. Well, from what I understand, they're trying to do away with cash, period, and go to some sort of Biden bucks or digital cash or something like digital currency, which that would be absolutely devastating to the financial sector. I don't care who you are, because it'd have to apply to everybody. And I'm thinking all them, uh, I just I think about how evil that is, how sinister that is. Um, there is no reason in any shape or form that one person or a group of people should have that much power over you. That's when your freedom is no longer free. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point, Mike, for sure. Yep, I'd agree, Mike. I would agree. That's true. I mean, they really can't take your faith away, and they can't take what you got up here. Um, there's a lot of things that you can't unsee that you've seen in your life. That's something that you'll never take away. They can never take away. They can never take away your memories. Although, in my case, my memories just keep going on their own. Getting old. But yeah, I had a doctor's appointment the other day, Thursday, and it was due for my 3-month checkup, as far as my blood sugars and that kind of stuff. And he was pretty tickled. My A1C went from 9.2 to 7.2. So he was pretty happy with that. He says, "You get it below 7," and I says, "We'll start eliminating some medicines." I'm all over that. I hate taking medicine. I found out that the thing that kills me for most, as far as my blood sugar is my body does not digest gluten very well, and it definitely doesn't like bread. Um, for some reason, I do okay with pasta. Um, I don't quite understand that. Maybe it's the amount of being processed, but I don't know. Um, and I try to avoid, excuse me, most sugars. But other than that, I'm pretty good. So I know, Bub. Apparently, my boy has got an upset stomach. I guess he threw up his entire dinner tonight. Probably about an hour after he ate it, which that's no good. Yeah, Mike, I can't do whole grain. Whole grain actually tears me up pretty good. So it's something I have to avoid. Now I can eat the closest bread that I can eat and enjoy occasionally is God dang, is that thing that dirty? Ooh, it is. Um, Dave's Killer Bread. Um, that has the least amount of impact on me, but that's really good bread. Yeah, Doc, I use brown sugar in a lot of my rubs that I make, and I found a great way to cook a London broil. And I learned this from watching a couple other people that using like yellow mustard as a binder to help hold everything together, and it really works well. I got a couple of those, those big Boston butts in the freezer. I think I got 2 or 3 of them still in the freezer, and I got to figure out a way to. I've been watching some other people do those, and they've used like a 5-gallon bucket, and they put it in there with a salt brine solution uh, to kind of make everything swell up a little bit. And I guess once you do that and smoke it or something like however you want to do it, it turns out really well. That's crazy, Mike. Oh yeah, I love pulled pork. I don't have a pressure cooker though. Although the Ninja makes one that also will take a round basket, because I found I like making beef jerky from scratch. And this recipe I found for this beef jerky is so good. And if you cut that London broil just right, I like it, you know, somewhat thick. Well, not real thick, but I mean, if you get it paper thin, to me, it dries it out too much. If you get it just about, maybe an 1/8 inch thick or something like that, and cut it that way. Mm. The Ninja Foodie grill that I got now will dehydrate and takes about 8 hours. So I can put it in before I go to bed and let it do its thing overnight, and then it's ready to go in the morning. It just doesn't hold a whole lot. Ooh, I don't need any help with the beans, that's for sure. You know what they say, beans, a magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better it feel. Let's eat beans for every meal. I can remember growing up, my mom would tell me that rhyme all the time. Cracked me up. I got some chili in the freezer if I wanted to eat that. I need to. I think I'm gonna make some macaroni and cheese. Put it in the freezer. So what's shit there, Steven? Oh yeah, never mind. I got it. I'm getting tired. Yeah, it'll definitely send you to the toilet for sure. I had an uncle on my mom's side that, I kid you not, every time we went over for Christmas, we always celebrated Christmas over there, Christmas Eve, and then we went over grandparents on my dad's side for Christmas Day after we did Christmas at our house. And Christmas Eve was never boring. This uncle, I swear, it just seemed like he'd he'd want to see who could outdo who on passing gas, and my lord, he would definitely have the whole house laughing. Oof. Dang, that sounds good. That's something that's really good as Rotel. Of course, you can't make Rotel with real cheese; it just turns you too greasy. But if you make it with Velveeta, it's pretty good. I've heard that. Well, excuse me. I've heard that before. Of course, you could be like Demolition Man, Sylvester Stallone in that movie. You don't know about the three seashells method. He doesn't know about the three seashells method. That's a great movie. Yeah, it was a great movie. I like how he says he's trying to get TP, and so he just keeps cursing, and they keep spitting out fine tickets. He says toilet paper. That was great. Yeah, he's like, oh, this is so good. Great movie. It's kind of funny. You see some of the big actors and that you really like, and then you see him play some of the corniest movies, like seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Kindergarten Cop, or what was that other one? Total Recall, and that was Total Recall was pretty corny, and it was just I laughed my butt off when they flew out of the hole on Mars, and they're squirming and everything on the ground, and the eyes start popping out, and everything starts bugging out, and then everything returns back to normal. I'm like, yeah, whatever. That don't happen. Oh my lord, Mike. Seriously. Oh, shit on a stick, right? Oh, Yeah, sometimes you get that really cheap toilet paper, you don't have any choice but to get it on your finger, 'cause the TP sure as hell ain't doing any good. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Yeah, it's amazing. I wash my hands no matter what, whether or not it's number 1 or number 2, if you wanna put it that way, but, it's amazing when you go into a men's bathroom and you see how many guys walk out of there and they don't wash their hands when they're done. I'm like, "That is just disgusting." Then you think all the stuff he touches after that, and I'm like, "Come on, man, wash your damn hands." It's not a pride thing, it's just do it. Anyway, so I made a little upgrade to my network here at the house, not to change subject, but I'm gonna change it anyway. Yeah, yeah, right. For sure. So I made a few changes here at the house. My dogs or cats, I don't know who was doing it, keeps chewing up my network cable because this computer is hardwired and the um, access point or the router is in the other room on the other side of that wall because that's where everything comes in. That's where my main server computer is. This computer that's right behind me is the media computer that I use for that TV because the TV does not do doesn't have it's old enough that it doesn't have the YouTube TV app and I can't download it, and that's what we use for TV. And so anyway, I have to run a hardwire and I'm not going to drill holes in the wall, and I can't the Wi-Fi is not strong enough for what I do because you have to have the bandwidth to do YouTube. You have to. If you do videos or anything like that, you have to have the speed of otherwise you're sitting there picking your butt waiting for this thing to upload. So anyway, I found online this new Cat 8 cable um, that's made for super high speed and streaming and all that stuff. And I decided instead of because all these cards are all 1 gigabit cards. In other words, they'll transmit and receive 1 gigabit at a time, which that's perfect. So I added that little box there behind that you see me pointing to behind me. That is a gigabit switch. It's a little Netgear switch, and so basically, I've split it off to where there's only one wire running from the other room to that box, and then I've got a wire running from that computer to that box, from that box to the TV, and from that box all the way around. And you can see the wire right there. I haven't got it tacked yet, but I've just got it laying there and said I'm going to go over the top of the door to help keep the kids. But anyway, it's nylon wrapped. It's some cool stuff, I'm going to tell you, and it's super flexible. Uh, hopefully, um, hopefully it'll keep the kids from tearing it up and it'll last for a while. But anyway, I found all that stuff on Amazon, and I got some cable retainers and that kind of stuff I got to put up. But if the weather holds out, I got to be outside doing stuff. I have to. There's just too much to do outdoors. Um, Mike, I'm like you. I'd like to have Paramount also. In fact, I've got a Showtime subscription. It's about $10 a month. I'm thinking about dropping the Showtime subscription. The only reason why I had that is when Ray Donovan was playing, is that was a fantastic series. Had what's his name, Schreiber. Um, just a fantastic series. If you get a chance to see it, it's good. Another one that I got to watch a little bit of was Yellowstone, which I don't have. Um, and that is a fantastic one. I really enjoyed that one. There was another one I seen here not long ago that was really good. Oh, 10 Cop. That was on Amazon. Oh, 10 Star, excuse me, rather 10 Star. TIN Star. That was a good series. You know, the sad thing is, Mike, somebody will end up buying that. Doc, that's why I just got YouTube TV. I mean, it's part of the subscription. You know, it's not like real expensive. It's hell of a lot cheaper than we had Dish before, and it was just Dish was getting asinine expensive, and so I switched over to YouTube TV, streaming TV, and it works pretty good. Now these TVs have got like Pluto TV, which is basically internet TV, and it's free. Worst case scenario, if I had to get rid of YouTube TV, that's what we'd probably end up doing is watching like Pluto TV or something like that. They've got a couple apps on there that's free. Um, but we're not to that point yet. It's still doing me okay for the way it is. Excuse me, goodness. So, um, Sandman, huh? Yeah, I heard Netflix was pretty good. My mom watches Netflix all the time, and she really likes Netflix. I got her a new uh, Samsung TV when I was up there a couple weeks ago, and it's pretty cool the way that thing works. And she can it's got a hot button on the remote for Netflix. You just push it, it takes it right to Netflix, and she can watch her show. She absolutely loves that. Well, there you go, Mike. Yeah, over the air stuff has come a long way. I mean, where I'm at though, I'm out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't think I'd have much. In fact, I know we tried antenna TV. In fact, there's a TV in that room uh, right there that's got an antenna on it, and it won't even pick up. It won't pick up hardly anything. So, oh, so my laptop at work died, and I had to break down and buy a new laptop. Didn't want to do that because really didn't have the money for it. But I have to have one for work because when you program some of these vehicles, you have to be able to take the laptop with you in the car. You can't exactly do that with a desktop. So I dug, and GM has certain specs that you got to get for it to meet their standards and for programming and all sorts of stuff. So they wanted it's got to be a Pentium i5 or i7, but it has to be an eighth generation processor up. They want a minimum of 8 gig RAM and a minimum of like a 500 gig hard drive. I actually found one. It's not what I wanted because I really wanted a tough book. But holy crap, those tough books or those whatever they call Durabooks, they're $2,400. I'm like, I can't justify that. So I found this one online. It's an Acer, which Acer's made motherboards before. I've used Acer motherboard, but anyway, they had this laptop had 16 gig of RAM in it, a i7 processor running 3.1 gig processor, um, and a 500 gig solid state drive in it with 3 USB 3.0s in it. Somebody must have got out of the chair, and it was $800. I thought that was a freaking good price, and I got this thing. Holy crap, is it fast! Unbelievable how fast this thing is. Um, just absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's an 8th generation i7 processor. Um, I was just gonna get an i5, and I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna get an i7 and, get a little faster one." And, I was totally amazed. So I got all excited, and I got it home, didn't even think about it, opened up, started up, fired right up, super fast, logged me in. I was like, "Right on." So I'm gonna download all the software for GM so it's ready to go when I go to work. So I got it all downloaded, and, everything was hunky dory and logged in, did all my thing, and I got to work, and I was trying to load the parts catalog, GM parts catalog, and it says you're missing a .NET software, and it says you need to download it. It says, "Okay." So I go on Microsoft's website and started downloading, and it locked up. And I'm like, um, "Okay." And so basically it crashed. And, so it rebooted, it started up, and it says Windows didn't start correctly. You can choose to start anyway and go on, or, um, use the use the diagnostic software to find out, what you need to do. So, of course, I'd said continue anyway. Well, then it, uh, keeps rebooting. I'm like, "Well, this is no bueno." So I used the recovery software that it had built into it, which I thought was pretty slick. And it says, if you want to use one of the recovery points, you can click on that and then it'll get you going. I said, okay. So I used the most recent recovery point on it, and I'll be damned if it didn't wipe everything out I'd already just done. So, and I know what I did. And what I did is when I got the thing, I didn't do all the updates that you're supposed to do. When you get a new computer, it's not going to be current. You have to do the updates to make everything work right. So this time it took me a couple hours, and I did all the updates and got all of them done, get everything, and then I was like, okay, everything's loaded. I didn't load anything else. Just did the updates and everything, got the computer current. And I told it to create a recovery point right where it's at. So if I have to go back there, that's where it's going to start. So I did that. Then I rebooted. Then I started over, made sure that worked right. Then I downloaded the GM software again, got all that working. Uh, create a recovery point. So there's another recovery point that I did. So then I did some fine tuning on the software. I got a few other things, got the parts catalog to work. Um, Downloaded a few other things, and then I did it again to create another recovery point. So there was 3 recovery points that I created to keep it in case it crashes. I can choose one of those and say, okay, that's where I knew that I didn't have a problem. So that's where I want you to go. And it'll reload it right there. And then you just start over from there, which everybody should do that on every computer just to kind of save your butt. That's terrible, Mike. That's funny. Funny, but terrible. Yeah, Steven, I really like that i7. I'm pretty impressed with it. Yeah, I didn't think the $800 was too bad either. Mike, I almost bought a gaming laptop. I was like, it didn't quite have what I needed on it for work, so that's why I ended up with this Acer. And I hadn't bought a laptop either. That's for a while. It's been at least 10 years since I'd bought a laptop. I'll put it that way. I'd been running on my old laptop and had been working fine, and then just all of a sudden it started freaking out and locking up, and um, I think it's just got a hardware issue that's going south, probably from the excessive heat. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about this laptop is the only color I could get it in was white. Now, I'm sorry, if you're a mechanic, that's the last thing you really want is a white laptop. Show every greasy fingerprint and paw print that there is, but that's the only way it came. And like I said, it was a good deal. And they sent me this little webcam. Uh, it says Neurim something. Nurcum or something like that. Um, I did get it to work a little bit, but like I said, it conflicts with this monitor since this monitor has a camera right where my finger is pointing. Um, so it conflicts with it. And I says, well, okay, so I'll just take and remove the one that's on the monitor and go for that. The problem is when I did that, it wiped out my USB keyboard too. Because my keyboard, there's a USB hub on the back of this monitor, and you can plug USB devices into it. So I got my monitor plugged in there and I got this microphone plugged in there. Well, when I deleted the camera for this monitor, it wiped out the whole monitor. So I didn't have any keyboard. The only thing I could use was the mouse. It's crazy. I was able to program my DSP data and scope and GM data sheets. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's about it there. Yeah, Mike, except for I haven't really found one that looks like it would work. Um, but I totally agree with you for sure. I thought about just taking a piece of um, cling wrap or something like that and laying it over the top just to kind of protect it that way. I mean, it would probably work. Also keep the dust and dirt out of the keyboard. But well, fellers, I'm about to fall asleep sitting here in front of you. So that'd be pretty bad. You hear me freaking sawing logs. So I'm going to get these four-legged kids outdoors and I'm going to go hit the sack. So I really appreciate y'all stopping by and listening to me gab. I hope y'all will take care of each other, take care of yourself. God bless you and God bless America. Keep your faith, keep your chin up, think happy thoughts, smile more, like one of the Romans said. So y'all take care and have a good night. I appreciate it.